Welcome to Fewer Things Better. This is the place for all of us who are big on goals and short on time. Together, we'll explore smart, simple ideas on how to retrain your brain and unlock your life. I'm your host, Kristin Graham. Let's get started. So many conversations these days seem to center on the general fatigue we all seem to share. There's physical fatigue, of course, and also the quiet weariness of feeling just behind. And there are no shortage of suggestions about what you can buy or do to fix it. But when it comes to energy, sometimes what's missing isn't a solution. It's simply more information about you. The bottom line on top of this episode is that most of us treat energy like it's a personality trait. But biologically, energy behaves much more like an ecosystem. In an ecosystem, everything interacts. Nutrients, hydration, sleep, medications, hormones, light exposure, and cognitive load. When any one input dips, the rest of the system compensates. Eventually, that compensation can show up as fatigue. So instead of assuming you need more discipline, it may be worth asking a different question. What part of my energy ecosystem might be under-resourced? Sometimes fatigue isn't a signal to push harder. It's a signal to look more closely at what's underneath. The purpose of this episode is to share a few of what I think of as the quieter variables. These aren't the usual reminders to sleep more, drink water, or exercise. Those things matter, of course. Our mamas have been telling us this all along. These are additional inputs that often get overlooked. The more we understand our individual systems, the easier it is to see what shapes or saps our energy. And let me also say this, none of this is medical advice. More like friendly nerd notes on some places you might explore as part of an internal energy audit. First up is iron. Iron plays a key role in helping the body transport oxygen to tissues and muscles. So low iron can definitely lead to fatigue, brain fog, and reduced stamina. It can also be a component of anemia, which is when your body has insufficient amount of red blood cells. And I bring this up from a personal perspective because I found out 2 years ago that I was anemic and I had no idea. So it's important to check. And you can do that in partnership with your medical provider through simple blood tests. And then they can give guidance on the nutrition, supplements, and treatments if needed. Again, this isn't about assuming something is wrong. It's getting a current snapshot of your own biological baseline. Next, let's look at vitamin D. Vitamin D behaves more like a hormone than a traditional vitamin. It plays a key role in our immunity, mood, and even metabolism. When vitamin D levels are low, fatigue shows up again, along with lower mood or that heavy feeling where it's just kind of hard to get moving. In northern climates, especially geographically, vitamin D levels often dip during the darker months when sunlight exposure drops. So what can start to feel like a motivation problem may simply be your body getting less sunlight and more time indoors. A blood test, again, can tell you what your levels are. And research suggests that even short doses of daylight, even if there are clouds, 10 to 30 minutes a few times a week when you're outside, can actually help boost your D and your mood and energy. Another variable is what we might call your chemical stack. Most adults today have a combination of things that they take regularly or occasionally to help with their energy. So it could be caffeine or sleep aids, supplements, protein powders, even prescription medication. Individually, these all may be appropriate, but together they could impact alertness, sleep cycles, metabolism, and yes, energy again. Pharmacists can sometimes conduct what is called a medication reconciliation review. That just means looking at everything that you take together rather than one at a time. So you can think of this as your chemistry check. Sometimes a small interaction between inputs could affect your brain and body more than you realize. Another input to consider is visual fatigue. Our modern environments place a lot of demand on our eyes. If you find yourself looking in the mirror and seeing a lot of bloodshot eyes, take note. Your eyes are an active part of your brain's workload, and all the hours and hours on screens can contribute to eye strain, of course, headaches, and cognitive fatigue. When our visual load increases, even when it's for fun things, the brain has to compensate. One tip I have shared before is called the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes or so, take a 20-second break and look at something away from a screen that's at least 20 feet away. It gives a visual reset and a chance for your eyes to just rest for a moment. Our digital environment is asking a ton of our attention and our eyes. So if you find yourself reaching for eye drops or rubbing your eyes, it may be worth scheduling some screen breaks. And hey, that's another reason to take a vitamin D walk. And finally, hydration. Hydration is the one people probably hear about the most, but it's worth framing it correctly. The brain is about 75% water. So there's a lot of research in physiology and cognitive science that shows even a 1% to 2% drop in hydration, which can occur in just a matter of hours, can influence fatigue and concentration. Hydration is not just about satisfying thirst. It's part of that operating environment that your brain's depending on. And it doesn't have to all come from a giant water bottle if that's not your thing. You can get hydration from tea, fruit, vegetables, dairy, and yes, even coffee all contribute. So when you start to feel a slump, reach for some hydration. So let's bring this together with a recap of your quick energy ecosystem. So there's iron levels, vitamin D, your own individual chemical stack, visual fatigue, and hydration. If you want to get more curious on the energy space, there's a great playlist called Energy Reset on the Fewer Things Better YouTube channel. We'll have that link in the show notes. So as a reminder, energy isn't always a willpower problem. Sometimes it's an information problem. And now you have a little bit more of the information. Hopefully, this helps you feel a bit more like you again. And as you do, take care to always take good care. For more Fewer Things Better, find us over on YouTube or join our newsletter at unlockthebrain.com/newsletter. See you next time.